feeling this morning?
Sleepy.
Better or worse than last night?
I didn't feel bad last night, so pretty good.
So the doctors say that it's only going to get worse, but I don't want to harp on that right now. You know, this is just crazy, you know? But if you think about it, she's got such a positive and upbeat attitude all the time, right? Don't you just love it? But last night, I actually came across a video on YouTube. I'll link it in the description so you guys can see it. But it was from a guy named Steve Magnanti. I think I'm saying it correctly. Magnanti. And he was saying how he has been missing since August because of an illness called encephalitis, which I've never heard of. And he said that he was put into a medically induced coma. Crazy stuff, y'all. You just got to go out there and live your life, you know? Got some fuzz on my microphone here. I think you just got to go out there and live your life. Many years ago, this was back in 2009 or 2010, I actually bought life insurance. Obvious reasons, you know, making sure the family is taken care of. And at the time, you know, I was worried. I was worried about the economy. I was worried about businesses going under, going bankrupt. And I didn't know what I didn't know back then. But what I did know was I wanted to choose a company that had a strong track record and a history. Whereas, you know, I don't want something to happen to me and then my family wouldn't be able to receive the insurance, the life insurance policy premium payout as expected because the company went under, went bankrupt, went out of business. You guys remember 2008, 2009, 2010. I was young. So at the time I chose a company. I don't want to name the name of the company, but I chose a company that had been around for a very long time. And you'd see their name on skyscrapers and office buildings and major cities. We lived in Atlanta, so you see that all the time when you drive into Atlanta. Get down to 14th, 17th, 14th, 10th. And either way, I guess that's Midtown. But anyway, they've since changed names. But regardless, in that whole life insurance policy setup, there was something that I was unaware was offered. And it was, I don't know the exact name and term for it, but basically it was, if you were ever diagnosed to be terminally ill, then you could cash out the policy. Now this wasn't one of those, oh man, I don't remember the name of it. Hang on, let me look it up. Yeah, there's Steve right there. That video I was watching.
I'm coursing through my veins to keep me from ripping the trachea out of my throat. That's what happens, I guess, when people get tracheotomies. They tend to wake up in the middle of the night, pull the trachea out, and that's never good for anybody, especially the...
Ooh, tracheotomy, that sounds awful. But let me go in here and see if I can find the name of that life insurance. We got some good news here. Let's see, restaurant owner explains why he charges $16 for a BLT. Whew. I mean, food's expensive. Everything's expensive nowadays. What are you gonna do? Truck is huge. All right, let's see here. Life. This is the only way I know how to look for it. I just walked into that tree. The tree came out of nowhere. I'm gonna do life insurance. Rip. Let's see. I was going to do rip off. I was going to do life insurance rip off or life insurance scam, but I think it might bring back the wrong results. So I'm gonna do life insurance types because I got permanent whole life, I think term, and I got term. Yeah, I got term. So I think the other one, I got term. I think the other one is whole life. And some folks like whole life insurance, and because they feel like, and I had somebody try to present this amortized schedule to me and explain to me the benefits of this, but I couldn't make heads or tails of it, besides the fact that whoever's getting the commission on this was going to be reaping the benefits for like the first, I don't know, 10 years or so of it. So I was like, man, that seems like a lot of money being thrown down the drain. Dog is freaking huge. So I was like, man, that seems like a lot of money being thrown down the drain. So they want you to fund it, and then theoretically in the future, if you ever needed to borrow against it, you essentially become your own bank. And yeah, I wasn't born yesterday, folks. All right, that's more like it. Get these shades on. But at the time, they were trying to present it to me like it was going to be a huge, huge benefit because I was a business owner. And it was a way of protecting my wealth by putting it in this life insurance. But needless to say, long story short, I opted out, or against. I never opted in. And yeah, you know, and there's some folks out there, they want to tell you that this is a great idea and you can then use this to pay down your mortgage faster. The numbers don't add up for me. Regardless, be that as it may. And actually, I need to make this quick because I'm supposed to get back. I'm supposed to get back for breakfast. I'm making waffles this morning. So, long story short, the policy that I have has this feature. I don't remember what they call it exactly, but basically if you're deemed to be terminally ill, then they'll pay out the policy before you die. And so that, to me, now granted, they assume that some people would want to maybe take care of some personal affairs before they pass. And somebody was telling a story last night about that. I don't remember where I heard it, but either way, might have been on TV, might have been at the restaurant, and somebody was doing some life planning. But basically, or maybe they were talking about Jenny Apple. Either way, it's all starting to mush together in my brain here. At the end of the day, I just want to bring you guys information. Think about it as like fun, informative, educational entertainment, basically. But maybe for some, what they really want to do is go out and take a trip, go on a vacation, do some things that they've never done before they die. And they can take that money and they can do that. Hell, they could even take that money and start a business, build generational wealth for their family before they pass. So that is something that I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it's not really cool to die, but to know that you had that option if you were to become and be diagnosed with a terminal illness, that you could activate and select that option, then, you know, not a bad way to go, right? I really need to get this thing to a car wash. Might end up doing that today. And today is Sunday. And we've got tomorrow, no school, but tomorrow is a big day because we're gonna take a ride and we're gonna go get the van back. And there's a lot there that I have to share, a lot to this story that I have to share with the van. And we actually have been covering this more on another channel. So if you want the full story, go check out the other channel. On that channel, we actually, no, I take that back. There's another channel, a channel that I completely forgot about. And we started this channel years ago when we started van life. But I just kind of, wonder what that is. I just kind of didn't really stick with it because, you know, you got to think about opportunity costs, right? And essentially the opportunity cost was time. Time is finite, okay? Time, you're not much like land, they're not making any more of it. So I had to use my time wisely as best I could to be as profitable as possible. Therefore, I had other opportunities that were panning out sooner and faster and being more lucrative. So I kind of put it on the back burner. But something cool about it was the very first video, I think it was the very first video, was when we first saw the Winnebago Echo. I think it was like a Class B or Class B plus. And it just came out right before we bought our van. And Michelle did a little bit of a walkthrough. And I'll show you guys so you can see it.
The Echo for you? For you what? What is it?
All right, so this is the Winnebago Echo, but it's the...
Well, now there's a new Echo and it's on a Mercedes-Benz diesel Sprinter chassis. So I'm super excited about that. Maybe we can go find one of those and do another walkthrough and do an update. Can you open my package, please?
Sure. It's still a good stuff, so.
I feel like this Amazon box is way too big to deliver this package.
I feel like they could have just delivered that by itself.
I think they did before. They just put it in a little envelope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe they ran out of envelopes.
Oh, can you open it for me? Mm-hmm. Essentially, this is my new tripod because my last one broke. My last one I lost or got stolen. Then the last one I had to replace it, just broke. Now I'm on my third one. But I think the last one was a fluke. Or maybe I just yanked it out of the thing too aggressively. But
You wanted a "that's what she said" moment?
well, I mean, I don't know. It's like I'm typically like extremely aggressive, so maybe that is the case. I blame it on me versus them because this is my third. You're on your second. What happened to the white one? Did it break?
I think so.
Or did we break it? What happened to the white one?
I don't know.
So we're doing homemade waffles for breakfast, which technically they're homemade, but it's a mix. So is that homemade?
And they're not chocolate, so sorry about that. I didn't see a chocolate mix. I know you like the chocolate ones.
Are they still homemade if it's a mix?
Probably not.
I mean, you're making them at home.
I'm making them at home, but I don't think...
Apartment made. They're apartment made.
Doesn't matter.
Kodiak. Glasses swap, dizziness, but C-bands to the rescue. But here, check this out. Like I said, they got this new Winnebago Echo B Plus camper van, becomes a Mercedes Sprinter adventure rig. And back in 2020, Winnebago grew its all-terrain RV footprint with the original Echo. You remember doing that?
What?
That Echo walkthrough?
Oh yeah, I do actually.
And it was cool. It wasn't, I don't think it was the right layout or floor plan for us, but I thought it was pretty cool. But I think back then it was on a Ford Transit chassis. I think it was a Ford Transit chassis. But
That's the C class?
it's a B plus.
Yeah, okay.
And it says that a larger, roomier Ford Transit all-wheel drive alternative. So yeah, Ford Transit to the company's Mercedes Sprinter-based Rebel camper van. Now the company is bringing those two camper products closer together than ever with a Sprinter-based Echo. All right, we gotta go try to find one of these Sprinter-based Echoes.
This whole thing does not explain this thing. I think it's supposed to be like a catch basin, but then this doesn't sit on the counter, it sits on this, and then it makes it all twisty. So it makes it very difficult to use.
The waffle station at the hotels really makes this a whole lot easier. Because they just pre-make all this stuff.
I don't know why I just shook up milk. It's a habit to shake stuff.
Who knows? But that one's organic, so it's fine.
You're supposed to open it without burning the shit out of yourself. And this might still be too thick. It's not gonna cover.
Is it making 4 separate waffles? Is that what it does?
No, it's supposed to make one, but like I said, I think this might be the Kodiak or whatever the heck it's called. Might be thicker than expected. It says smush it down in there with a spatula, which of course I didn't use a spatula. Let's see what happens here. My first waffles, don't judge me. So it says do this, and then you're supposed to flip it,
Then it tells you when it's ready.
and that'll tell me when it's green. When it turns green, I'm supposed to flip it back over. When it turns green again, open it up.
So did you ever figure out what happened to your back? Or how did you get it fixed? It's just time?
Oh yeah. I
Or was
guess
it a bite? Did you get bitten?
I have no idea. I think it was a heat rash, but I'm not 100% positive.
How long did it take to go away?
Like 2 weeks, so maybe not a heat rash. At first I thought it was like shingles, but I'm like, I'm only 41. I shouldn't have shingles at 41. But I'm not quite sure. But it didn't spread anywhere, and it wasn't worth going to the doctor for, so I just put calamine on it and called it done.
I guess you could have did like the little virtual doctor app.
Is that green or not?
Nope.
Okay.
It's steamy. It fogged up my lens. But it's not green yet.
Okay.
Are these the baby bananas from Whole Foods?
No, those are regular bananas. These might be too thick. I can't tell if it's lit up or not, but I don't think so.
Where'd you get this waffle maker from?
Target.
It was on sale? Or is
It was
this the
on-
one you wanted?
No, it was on super sale. Instead of it being $55, it was $24.99, and then I had Target gift cards, so I got it for basically free. Is that green yet? It looks like it could be done. It's the ugliest waffle I've ever seen, but I can make it better.
Look pretty waffly to me.
I need a waffle
Does
picture
this,
outer.
does this say how long it's supposed to take?
Not that I know of.
It
It depends
going on
on-
like 5 minutes probably.
I think it's like 4 to 8 minutes, depending on your doneness.
And this is the doneness?
I put it in the middle, and so I didn't want it to burn, and I didn't want it to be undercooked.
Why would they give you an option for undercooked?
Well, it depends on the mix you're using. Sometimes the minimum is what you need for dark chocolate ones, because then if you put it on max, it'll come out to something. I think that's what the thing said. I don't know. There's a book there.
Speaking of Max,
You probably.
he's over here making all this noise. Look good to me.
It needs to be thinner next time this came out. The Kodak thickens up too fast. Hi, Mexico.
All right. So while we are waiting on breakfast, waffles, I'm going to share with you guys the latest here from Philadelphia, or not from Philadelphia, well, the latest from Philadelphia and the latest from People magazine, or People online, People's website. Philadelphia measles outbreak includes daycare exposure after parents didn't follow quarantine rules. And it says that at least 8 people have been diagnosed with the highly contagious virus, with many more exposed. This came out just a couple days ago, 3 days ago. A measles outbreak is unfolding in the Philadelphia area, and at least 8 people were confirmed to have been diagnosed with the extremely contagious virus. NBC News reports that the outbreak began when a child who spent time outside the country was admitted to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, CHOP, with an infection, and doctors eventually determined the illness was measles. According to the World Health Organization, the WHO, measles spreads easily when an infected person breathes, coughs, or sneezes, and it can affect anyone, but is most common in children. Symptoms can include a high fever, cough, runny nose, and a rash all over the body.
But you have to have the be in public schools, so I used to have daycare.
You don't think daycares want to?
Not generally speaking. I think the daycares, well, it depends on how old you are, because certain vaccines are certain age groups. I don't know what measles is.
But as we continue reading on, the Philadelphia Department of Public Health did not confirm to NBC News where the child contracted the disease. So I guess people sharing this from NBC. And while at the hospital, the outlet said the child spread the illness to 3 other patients, including a parent and child who were there for other health reasons. The child who contracted measles in the hospital had yet to be vaccinated. Their parent also wasn't vaccinated. The adult was offered medication for unvaccinated adults to prevent illness after exposure, but reportedly refused. Things took a turn for the worse when the parent ignored the Philadelphia Department of Public Health's quarantine rules that recommended anyone who may have been exposed to measles to stay home and away from others. Instead, on December 20 and 21, they sent the child to daycare. There, measles spread to 4 additional people. The health department told NBC News that none of the people who've been diagnosed with the virus are immune to measles, meaning they've never gotten a measles, mumps, rubella, MMR vaccine, or had not contracted measles in the past. Doug Thompson, chief medical officer at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia, told the outlet the hospital has seen 3 patients between 1 and 2 years old from the current outbreak, and he added that none of them had been vaccinated. And I quote, "With those who had a rash, certainly we've been on the highest alert, but we're asking everybody about exposures to people with measles." And a press release from the city of Philadelphia says that the city is currently working to identify everyone who may have been exposed, checking their vaccine status, warning them that they may have been exposed, and issuing quarantine and exclusive recommendations where necessary. They add that while Philadelphia has high vaccination rates, with at least 93% of children fully vaccinated by age 6, about 90% of people who have close contact with an infected person will get measles if they're not vaccinated. And according to data released by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the World Health Organization in November 2023, the measles crisis continues to be a prevalent issue. A joint report released on Friday by the agencies reported an 18% increase in measles cases and a 43% rise in deaths from measles from 2021 to 2022. The decline of vaccinations made available during the COVID-19 pandemic was attributed as a contributing factor. And again, and I quote, "In 2022, measles vaccination coverage and global surveillance showed some recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic setbacks. However, coverage declined in low-income countries and globally. Years of suboptimal immunization coverage left millions of children unprotected," is what the report stated. With measles cases increasing globally from 7.8 million to 9.2 million plus, and the number of countries that experienced disruptive outbreaks also rose from 22 to 37. Deaths from the disease spiked to 136,200 in 2022, and the agency estimated that 57 million measles deaths were averted by vaccination from the years 2000 to 2022. And lastly, the increase in measles outbreaks and deaths is staggering, but unfortunately not unexpected, given the declining rates that we've seen in the past few years, according to John Verdafueli, director of CDC's Global Immunization Division. I might have completely butchered his last name. And he said that in a news release. And measles cases anywhere pose a risk to all countries and communities where people are under vaccinated. Urgent targeted efforts are critical to prevent measles disease and deaths.
Tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake friends